Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the In My Head podcast. Now, as I promised, here is part two of my very long episode with Darrion and Nguyen, aka Lab Shenanigans. We had a lot of fun with this episode, as I hope you are as well. And if you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram at In My Head underscore the podcast and TikTok at In My Head Podcast. I wish they were the same name, but I couldn't get them to be. I'm doing rapid reviews on my TikTok, and I think that's going to be a really fun project to do. And I'm trying to continue this playing catch up series with some more of my friends from high school that I haven't maybe talked to in a while, and just to catch up with them and talk about some light to heavy topics, just anything that we find interesting. So let's get into this gig. I want to tell you how I found out about Lab Shenanigans because I was like, I had made a Twitter in 2014,
Mhm.
and I had like met this girl at school. Like, I think maybe she was a high school kid coming to like tour the campus and stuff, and I was she dormed with me for that, and I followed her on Twitter, and she like retweeted a video, and I don't know if it was like, is your Twitter Lab Shenanigans?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So she
All my social media handles are lab shenanigans.
Okay, so she like retweeted that, and I was like just scrolling through, not really paying attention, and then I saw like your face. I was like, "This is Darian?" Like, I was like, hadn't seen you or talked to you in a while, and I was like, "Why is she retweeting videos of my friend from high school?" And I was like, "This is weird." And then that's when I kind of like scrolled through all the like old videos you were making and stuff, and Instagram.
Yeah.
I was like, "How am I just now?" I felt so late to the game. I don't even know how like far along you were at that point. But I was like, how am I so late to the the game right now?
No, like I don't know. I try to be low key about all the stuff that I'm doing on the side. I don't know. It's
Yeah. It just was so like it was like kind of weird and cool. And I was like, wow, my friend's getting retweeted by people like that he doesn't know that I met. It was like really a small world type thing.
yeah, yeah.
And I was like, this is nuts. Like,
That
and
is insane. Wow. Holy.
of all the things, of all the ways to find you, not through like a mutual friend, it's like through somebody I just met. And it's like the world, the universe, it works in mysterious ways. I was like, wow.
Hey, oh my gosh.
I really am like just you the way you talk about this stuff, and like watching like you go from like Facebook to Instagram to Twitter to TikTok and all that stuff. It's like you really like have the perfect personality like to do this stuff. You were like so smart, and you're like you were really good at theater, and that stuff, like how crazy that those two things melt together so well. Like,
Exactly. I think for the longest time, especially in college, I really partitioned the two like entities, like theater, science, like they can never come together. Like they're so different. They're on the opposite sides of the spectrum. And I just kind of, I guess, accidentally, I guess, use my theater training to make some of these videos. And it's funny because my senior year, when I was trying to choose my classes for the very last semester senior year, I had to take a lot of upper division theater courses, and all the courses that I wanted did not fit my schedule. So I thought, okay, I guess I'm gonna take voice acting. Voice acting. I'll take this class on Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects. Like I had no intentions on ever really doing anything outside of that. Just like I'll take the class, and after that I'll just kind of drop it. But everything that I do now, like I actually use Photoshop a lot. A lot of the designs on my merchandise store are all created on Illustrator. A lot of my videos, like a lot of the way that I edit my videos, I learned that from like my courses. Voice acting, like there are parts and sections of my videos where I do have to like voice act. And I also found an agent through my
wow.
class, and that's been fun. So like I don't know, like life works in mysterious ways where all these things that initially I had no desire, had no interest in, I'm glad that I learned all those things because now I feel very well equipped to make my content now. So it's crazy, and I definitely am appreciative, and I realize that everything can kind of blend and work together if you know if you really put your mind to it and just focus on it. And that's how it was for me with theater, like theater and science. I don't know, like my theatrical personality and knowledge has able to make me like rise to the surface just a bit and make me, I guess, stand out in the science community. So I don't know. I also think that I'm gay because maybe that's why I have this type
Thanks
of
for eating
personality.
it out.
Who knows?
It's because like how like where else are you gonna find like Asian queer like social media like what you know like you and science person like it is really just like you're gonna be not to be dramatic but like you're really gonna be some kid's dream like there's gonna be some like gay Asian kid who like likes science and is a you know a bit on the aside and it's like doesn't know what to do with all that and like they're gonna like see your TikToks and see all this stuff and be like wow like you can meld these things together and I can like it's not weird and it's not like it's okay to be me in that way and
Yeah.
like
I
representation.
really, yeah. So, that's why exactly I try to give these talks to schools because I I feel like I'm a living example of like doing things in an unconventional way, and
Yep.
like not only am I doing it, I guess, unconventionally, but I'm having fun doing it.
Mhm.
And I guess at times I'm able to like embrace my, I guess, like messy side. Like I like to joke around and say online that I'm a hot mess. And if you embrace just being a hot mess, I feel like that makes you more of a relatable person, that no one's perfect. Okay, Hannah Montana, no one's perfect.
Yeah.
And, and that if you're able to pick up on your mistakes, acknowledge them, and work on them, and also like just be true and be authentic to yourself online, then I think you're able to succeed. And that's not only like being a, I guess, like science communicator or like a scientist or a researcher, but like just as a person, as a content creator, you will go far in life with that type of attitude.
Yeah. I it is this is also like I feel like this is a learning experience for me too because like I had I started therapy a couple of months ago too and she definitely like me and my therapist are very different people but the one thing that she's kind of gotten across to me is like you need to just like I think too much and I know that like I get in my head a lot which is why this podcast is called In My Head and I like will spend so much time in my head that I don't do anything. And so I would tell her like, well, I kind of thinking about this, but I don't know if I want to do it and this and that. And she's like, well, just why don't you just do it and see what happens? You're just thinking about it. You're not, but you know, if you do it, and it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. You're not gonna get hurt. You're not gonna like even like starting this podcast, for example, like
Yeah.
for such a long time, like not that long, but I wanted to start one with my friends, and I wanted it to be a group thing, and it just never worked out. And it worked out, and it's like try to get other people to do it, but then like we talked about it, but never did it. And
Yeah.
so at one point, I kind of was just like, I want to do it. So so I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so I just started
My
talking.
cousin. Oh, sorry, sorry.
Oh no, keep going. No, go ahead.
My cousins and I, we have like this weird thing that we do where like if we feel a little sluggish and we don't want to do something, we like in the moment, like if we need to get up and go to the grocery store,
Hmm.
or if we need to go do this whatever task now, we're like laying on the couch, we just like count down 5, 4, and like we just do it. It's a weird, it's
Uh,
so weird, but like it just works. And I feel
yeah,
like that's the kind of approach that we need to have like in life, where if you're hesitant about something and you want to do it but you can't, then just like count down and just like do it.
I'll do so. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
good.
it's hard. It's hard. Like sometimes like getting out of bed for me is hard. Where it's like, okay, okay, I'm getting up now. Like you just do it.
I have to do that to myself. Because like it we okay, so we are two people who have very unconventional schedules right now because you're on the content creator schedule and I'm on the unemployed schedule. So like there's really no time I have to be up and doing things. There's
Mhm.
no like I gotta be up, for 8 a.m. to be in the office or do whatever. And so like sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be like, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything today. So
Mhm.
like, and sometimes I'm like, but I can't just lay here all day. I have to get up. And so I do that. I'm like, okay, get up now. So I'll just get up. Like, or and because if I don't, I'll be in that bed all day. Oh,
Yeah.
and it's funny because like, well, so I don't have, well, especially with Corona, I can't really see all of my friends. I mean, the only like me and Evangeline and her family, my family are all honestly kind of in our own bubble. Like I only see those people, and
Yeah.
so I'm like, well, I can't really hang out with anybody or go do anything. And like, well, Jessica lives on like the other side of Houston now, and then Danita is a nurse, so she works like 12-hour shifts and stuff. So
I
like
see.
I feel like sometimes I annoy Evangeline because I'm like, well, I gotta go do something. So you want to do something, or can I come over there, or like just so I can get up? And she was I had graduated, but she was still in school and she was doing
Yeah.
it online. And she has, I don't know if you know, she started her Etsy shop, her Mahal
Okay.
Dior. So she started an Etsy shop while she was also still in school. So she was doing all that. And I was just like, hey, you want to hang out? She's like, I have to write a paper and make a bunch of crafts. I don't have time to like I don't have time to hang out. And I'm
Wow.
like, I'm bored and I don't want to get out of my bed and I need somebody to make me get out of my bed. Sometimes I would like go over to her house. Literally, I could walk to her house. So I would like walk over there and then just hang out. And she would be doing a bunch of work. I'd be sitting there playing with her dog, like just to
Well, have you considered, doing like podcasting full time, like turning this into a career?
I I I want to. Like I told my therapist that. Oh no, I told my doctor that. I was like, if I could do podcasting full time, I would do it. And I'm trying to like be better about posting because I was like, okay, I don't want to go longer than a week, like
Yeah.
missing one. Like so I'm trying to do it at least once a week. And I'm trying to get like people like you, I'm trying to get more people on it. Like I'll have Evangeline on again.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to get Cameron on.
Cameron Tesoro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. I think, not only like making podcasts, but like also having like the video too, and then posting that on YouTube.
Yeah.
So you're like
Yes.
kind of cross posting. So I'm sure like you can post on like Spotify, Apple Music, and then YouTube, and
Yeah.
then even posting on like SoundCloud. Like
Yeah.
that's another way to really blow it up. And um, I recently did a podcast a couple weeks ago. It was 2 hours long. It was really long. It was fun, but like what I realized is that they edit their podcast. So
Mm.
like they edited 2 hours worth of us talking and they truncated it down to about an hour. I was gonna say a minute, an hour. And so I think that's something that like if you're able to like edit some parts, um I don't know how though, like maybe like just I guess like pauses or something, or some. I think, well, with that conversation, like we were just like all over the place. Like we were just talking about everything, and they made sure that like the conversation flowed.
Mhm.
And so, uh, and they also like heavily promoted that on various social media platforms, like on Instagram. So they made like little 15-second tidbits and posted that on their story, tagged me in it, and then I would like share that, and that brought like a lot of followers to that page, and then led to some of my followers to listening to that podcast. And so that's something that you can do too, like to just not only post on Spotify or Apple Music, but on other social media platforms, like make an Instagram page, make a Facebook page, even make like a LinkedIn. I think, yeah, on LinkedIn they have their own page. And that's you. I think you can attract like a lot of sponsorships that way.
Yeah, I was considering like because I would post like every episode that I put up, I would put it on my Instagram. And
Yeah,
I'm like, I was wondering, I was like, should I just make a separate Instagram
yeah. I
for
say hands down.
yeah.
Well, I try not to like blend my personal stuff with like my lab shenanigans stuff, just
Yeah.
because like I don't think like my followers, like my personal friends, like I don't think everyone's gonna enjoy my science content, and that's the reality of it. Like, and no hard feelings. I get it, and so that's why I felt like I need to make a separate account for all of my sciencey stuff, and then my personal stuff is gonna be like my personal stuff.
Right.
And I feel like same thing with this podcast. Have a separate account and really just like blow everything up. And trust me, like you will be able to attract sponsorships, and they pay well too. Like I listened to this one podcast and it sounds wrong, but I listened to it because it's so bad. And
Okay.
it's it's a science podcast. I love like the intentions behind putting this podcast, but it's just so badly executed. And it's a lot of like self-deprecating humor, but also like the type of humor is like really jabbing at the audience where it's not even funny. It's just it becomes offensive.
Yeah.
And I like listening to it because of seeing how bad and awkward it gets.
Mhm.
And with that podcast, they're able to still like attract sponsorships.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I see that as an example of like, okay, anyone can get sponsored now, like on Spotify. And I think they're sponsored by I think Squarespace.
Okay.
So that's one thing that you can consider. Like reaching out to these brands and letting them know, like, hey, I have a podcast. Would you like to be featured on it? Here's my rate. And they also that's another thing. Like go coming into the content creation world, I initially I undervalued myself. I didn't really understand my value until I got my own manager. And then that's when everything started working and I realized, oh, I can make a lot of money out of this.
Mhm.
So I think what you're doing now is like wonderful and it's amazing. And I think you're getting there. Like you can definitely make this bigger.
Yeah.
Much, much bigger.
Yeah. We're gonna start with the separate accounts, and we're gonna work our way up.
Yeah, honestly, feel free. Like, if you have any, like, if you need any advice, like, feel free to
Yeah.
message me. I'm gonna help. I want to help you as much as possible because this has you're doing so well on this, and I feel like you're so good at engaging in conversations
Mhm.
and like just talking to people and keeping the conversation going. And I know it's gonna grow big.
It's funny because it's like, okay, what am I good at? And I was like, I like to talk. And so I was like, what is the perfect medium for that? And I was like, oh, podcast. And then especially when I really got into podcasts,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh, this is perfect for me. So yeah, I'm really trying to do it more. And I really gotta be better about reaching out to people to be on it and stuff. Because I like talking with just me and talking about whatever subject is going on in current events, current
Yeah,
affairs. But like I also like I started this to talk to other people.
yeah.
So definitely gonna try
Another
to do that.
another thing that kind of helps is making a schedule
Yeah.
and being consistent on that schedule. So like planning months in advance. And that's that took me a while to learn, but it helps you stay on track.
Yeah.
And so like, every you can make a podcast every Tuesday,
Mm.
and you don't have to just like reach out to a lot of people and then just book your calendar
Yeah.
and then make your separate Instagram or make your separate like social media accounts, but also create like a visual for your podcast, like make turn it into video form. And so you're recording this conversation, but you can record the interactions, and have a visual. And then also I haven't seen anyone do it, like create like an animation in the visual or like add pictures. But I think that's something that kind of merges into like slowly like content creating a bit, maybe. I don't
Mhm.
know. But I think that's something that would be interesting. And I don't know. I feel I see a lot of potential in this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think whenever I have a guest or yeah, another person or like I need to start doing it again, but I did movie club for a bit where I watched a movie and reviewed it and talked about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to get back on movie club stuff, but like I think whenever I do those things, I will do a visual as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just gotta.
Have you considered making a TikTok about that? Like making a TikTok account where you review movies?
Oh no.
I think you should do it.
Okay.
The wonderful thing about TikTok is that you're seeing other people's videos that you don't generally follow. And
Yeah.
so I feel like on like especially on Facebook, but like Facebook, Instagram, sometimes it could be an echo chamber where you are just like talking to your friends or you're just showing video stuff or content to your friends. But on TikTok, you're not necessarily watching only your friends' stuff, but you're watching like random people. So
Mhm.
you're able to like watch other accounts. And so you're able to expose yourself more. So, on TikTok, if you reviewed movies, which is I think definitely is a niche of its own already, if you hop on the train and like make all these short form videos and just reviewed movies, I'm sure people are gonna like eat it up.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
And
Yeah.
yeah, hey, like for real, if you have any like questions or want any advice, like I'm here for you. I really think TikTok is a game changer.
Yeah,
Anyone can get started and become big on TikTok. That's why I love it so much.
I was one of those people who downloaded it as a joke, and I like I love this stupid app so much. My For You page is just cats though. It's like just cats and the occasional like drag queen, and then like it's just
Oh my, me too. My for you page are like all sciencey stuff, design stuff, and gay content.
yep. They really like tap into your mind. I'm like, they are watching me, they are listening to me, they're following me because all of
Exactly,
this stuff is
exactly.
unique to like me as a person. But I guess okay, so getting into musicals for a second, and that's just a hard switch because when I listened to the ASAP Science podcast, they were talking about like your favorite musicals and stuff, and you were like, oh, I kind of don't like Hamilton, and so I I was like, wow, finally someone else because I don't love it either. But most of the people that I know, they love it.
The thing is, I'm not into that type of like genre. Like
Mm.
I
Like
am
historical,
not
maybe?
into, well, not historically, like the rap singing. I'm
Oh,
not. I sound so Caucasian. Like I just a rap music. No, but like I love rap music, but like I don't like it in, I don't know, in this type of form. Not that I'm open to listening to it. Like In the Heights, which is
mhm.
also written by Manuel and Miranda. When before seeing the show, I tried to listen to the music on Spotify before watching the show, which I realized is a bad idea. I was like, I don't like this music. Is it gonna be good? Well, let's see it. This was my sophomore year, UT. My roommate from freshman orientation was the lead in the show, and so I was like, I have to go support him. But also, I've never seen this musical, but I am open to watching it. So I went to go see it, and they did such a phenomenal job that after watching the musical, like I ran back to my dorm and listened, no, back to my apartment. I ran back to my apartment and listened to the whole soundtrack on Spotify, and I love the soundtrack. And I think, maybe it's gonna be the same for Hamilton. If I watched it like in
Yes.
person and not on TV, if I watched it in person,
Yeah.
I think I would fall in love with it.
Yeah.
But I know some of the songs and I'm like, sorry, it's still not clicking. Like I don't like it yet.
It's
But
I and I know like before anybody had really gotten to see it because when it was like really blowing up, only like the rich people in New York were getting to see it. And
yeah.
so like but I was in undergrad, maybe I was a junior, I don't remember, but like when the soundtrack started to blow up and everybody was listening to it and they were like, oh, I love Hamilton, I love the songs, because people were only listening to the soundtrack, nobody had seen it really.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, okay. And so I listened to it and I was like, are we listening to the same thing or like I felt because I love musicals and I was like, and I'm not that picky with them, and I was like,
Yeah.
the rap singing is not for everyone.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
only saw, and I was like, I like one song on this whole, like I love one song on that whole soundtrack, and it's Satisfied, and it's because it's singing and not rap singing.
Mhm.
But I think that's why I like it. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know what to tell. I feel bad because every time somebody asks me, "Oh, do you like Hamilton?" I'm like, "It's okay." They're like, "You don't love it?" I'm like,
I know that's literally the response I get all the time. Where like when I tell someone that, oh yeah, I studied theater, and we'll just talk about musicals, like, oh my gosh, like, do you like Hamilton? And I'm like, actually, I don't like Hamilton.
yeah,
But then again, I need to be fair and actually give it a shot and watch it. I haven't
yeah.
watched it yet, so I can't really judge. But I mean, so far the songs just to me aren't clicking yet.
The it definitely like I definitely appreciated it more after even just seeing it on TV.
Mm,
Like like all the staging and the blocking and their little turntable thing in the middle. It's all very cool. Like
yeah,
Leslie Odom Jr.'s like in the room where it happens or whatever that song is called, he jumps on the
yeah,
table. It's all very cool to see, and it definitely gave me more of appreciation for like the actors and stuff. But like,
yeah,
yeah, the music is like it's so it's
yeah,
I,
exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
not as able to get into it, and I don't know if even the subject matter. I like all that much, like about Hamilton and the founding fathers, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care all that much.
But I think that's what makes it so interesting. Like he is able to makes this boring history lesson come
Uh,
to life by adding his twist to it. And I think that's what makes Manuel like such a remarkable person, that he's able to do
yes.
that. I think that's, I think I look up to people like that because I think that's what I'm trying to do, where like people deem science as boring and I'm trying to make it fun and entertaining. And
Mhm.
so I feel like, even though we're on obviously different levels and different planes, like I look up to him a lot. And even though I don't like I won't say like, I don't understand. I guess that's what it is. I don't understand how he makes how good his musicals are, but I
Yeah.
do appreciate that they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, of course. I always have to like qualify, like I don't like it that much, but I respect it. Like I'm not saying
Yeah.
like why do y'all like this musical? This makes no sense to me. Like
Yeah.
I love Lin Manuel so much. He's really good. He's really good at what he does, and he like made a lot of the music for Moana, or wrote a lot of music for Moana, and
Yep.
I love that. So I was like, it's not him in any way, but like I'm a basic bitch. I love Wicked. Like I love like Wicked in
Me
Chicago.
too.
I got to
Oh, Chicago. Chicago. I was okay. I think sophomore junior year at UT, I was obsessed with Chicago. I don't know why. I was just I think because I saw a live production of Chicago and how it was just so like well executed
yes,
that I fell in love with the whole like Cell Block Tango, uh, a bop,
yeah.
like so good.
If you
And
if people are out there and they like love the movie Chicago, once we get past Corona, if you get to see a live production of Chicago, jump at the chance. Like
it's
it's
so I watched the movie, fell in love with it.
mm,
Watched the live production, fell in love with it even more because it's the way that, at least with the live production that I saw, it was executed differently than the movie. The
yeah,
movie had a more serious undertone, whereas a live production, it was a little bit more like, what's the word, like farcy, like over the
yeah.
top, like overacting, but like that's just the style of that musical, and I just loved it. What's the other song that I like? Reach for the Gun. Love
Yes,
the song.
so
I love
good.
I love the whole idea of like how the what defending attorney or the lawyer was using the client like as a puppet. And so he was like a ventriloquist, and he was just like making her talk to the press. And so like
Yeah,
with her talking, he's like mouthing all the words, pretending that he's like puppeteering her. So that was pretty cool. I like that. Like that was just a clever way of, I don't know, like those little small things in musicals.
yes,
I live for those moments because it's an interesting take
hmm,
to convey that, like that information, and I just love it. I love it.
yeah,
This such like a magical element to theater, to musicals, that
yeah.
makes me like just love it all around.
I and I really like I love musicals. I love the movie musical like and I should do a video. I could do a whole video on why I think Chicago is the best movie musical. And like Caroline Haywood lent me her Chicago DVD, and I have never been the same since. She was like, "You should watch it. It's really good." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "I love this. How have I never seen this before?"
have you seen the have you seen the live musical productions of like Grease and Hairspray?
No.
Oh my gosh, okay. Hairspray, I believe, is on Hulu. Grease Live used to be on Netflix. For some reason they took it down. I've never seen Grease the movie, so I saw Grease live
Really?
first. Yeah, I know. But I knew the songs beforehand. But I watched the live production, and it's so good. It's really good. And I think once Fox found out that, like, they're on a roll and that they're onto something, they did what was, I think the next year they did Hairspray, and then
Oh, yeah.
the following year they did Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Yes, yes.
which is kind of a classic movie that you should not touch. And that production was, some songs are really good, but overall it was.
Yeah.
And the following year, I think they did Rent live, and
Yes.
that was I didn't watch all of that, but I heard that was eh.
I didn't
I
like
heard
that.
like
I saw the Rent one. I didn't like it all that much.
yeah, I heard that like the actual live performance wasn't live. Like they what they aired on TV was like the backup, like the rehearsal. Or not the rehearsal, but like I guess like a run through, just in case if anything happened live. That's what I heard. I haven't really looked into that.
Yeah, the Rent one was. I don't know. It's just I don't know if like the singers were the best and like they okay. They had I was excited for it too because Valentina was in it.
Yes, I
The-
was excited because like yeah, Valentina, Vanessa Hudgens, Jordan Fisher, like three people that I knew and like loved. But I don't know. I've seen clips of it, and they're in some numbers. It just seemed like they didn't work well together.
Mhm.
The cast, I don't know. That was kind of the feeling that I got.
I okay, so I did see the Grease live one. I did see the Grease live one because it didn't that have like who was in that? Kiki Palmer was in there,
Yep, yep,
and
yeah.
Carly Rae
Just like
Jepsen was in there, and
yeah,
I think Grease live somehow I think out of the live Fox ones that they've done is one of the better ones, which is kind of surprising. But like they kind
mhm,
of, I even like the like intro song of Jesse J around the parking lot in the golf cart. Like I even
yeah,
like that. I was like, oh, this is kind of smart. Like,
uh-huh.
and I think all like the transitions that they did. Like there's a scene if I'm remembering it right when like they're doing the scene where all the girls are in the bedroom for their sleepover, and then
Yep,
Palmer has her little solo, and she kind of walks out into this stage thing, and I was like, this is so smart. Like
yeah.
they really did what they had to do on the Grease Live one.
Like a bitch was gagging. I love
Yeah.
that. That was so cool. Hairspray, I think I would probably say like Hairspray is better than Grease Live. Hairspray Live, I would say
Okay.
it's
Ariana is in that. I know
and
she's in it.
he's really good too. And the main actress who plays Tracy Turnblad, she's such a phenomenal singer. She is from Texas, actually. I think
Oh,
she's from. I want to say she's like from Houston, but I might be wrong on that.
yeah. I want to say I caught when it like aired like on TV whenever it came out. I caught bits of it, but I never sat and watched the whole thing from beginning to end. So I need to watch.
The set is so good. The singing, I don't think there was a bad song.
Mm.
And uh, oh my gosh, what's her name? Oh my gosh, she was on American Idol. I feel like I should know her.
Carrie Underwood,
No, she's
Kelly
African American.
Clarkson. Oh,
Uh, oh my gosh, and I forgot the character that she plays, but she plays like the mama role. And she sings
Jennifer
"Big
Hudson.
Blonde and Beautiful."
Oh, is it Jennifer Hudson?
Jennifer Hudson, yes, 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 yes. And it's just so good. Like, the way, if you have a chance, please watch it. I
Okay,
promise you, you will not be disappointed.
okay. I gotta give that because I don't know if you like Hairspray the movie.
I loved it.
I don't like it all that much, but I haven't watched it in a lot of years. But I
I
remember not loving it all that much.
not gonna lie, I haven't seen it recently. I watched it when I was in, I think like fourth or fifth grade.
Yeah.
I liked it at the time. Yeah, I liked it at the time because of Zac Efron.
Oh.
And then we watched it again in eighth grade in history class, and then I fell in love with it even more.
Yeah.
And that was probably the last time I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been. Yeah. I was probably like maybe middle school when I saw Hairspray the last time. Do you like West Side Story?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen it. I know.
I don't know. It's long. I don't know what it is about that old 1960s. I don't know. I don't even like old movies really, but I love West Side Story. And it's like, what's even really happening? It's basically Romeo and Juliet
That's
in
what I've
New
been
York.
told. Yeah. I
It's
feel
so
like
fun.
I need to hop on that train and really watch West Side Story. It's one of the musicals that I really want to watch. Same thing with like Miss Saigon.
Mm.
What's another movie? I've seen Les Mis, the movie, but I want to watch a live production because I've been told that the live production is
Oh,
always better
yeah.
than Cats. I've heard that the live production of Cats is pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the
I
movie.
heard the movie. I heard the movie wasn't good at all.
I don't know.
Fun fact: my when I had to take musical theater dance 2 in college. It was one of my upper division theater courses I had to take. Uh, my professor was in the original cast of Cats.
Wow.
Yeah,
What an
and so,
experience. Yeah.
and yeah, she was such a nice person. She was a really good professor. What's another musical? Evita. I really want to watch Evita.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've
I
never
know
seen it.
I've seen parts of the movie with Madonna,
Mhm.
but her singing's all right. It's all
Yeah,
right.
okay. I'm like, watch this, is it good? I don't know. I know they have oh boy, Barbara Streisand, Hello Dolly? Is that what it's
Hello,
called?
Dolly. Yes, 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 yes.
I know they have that on Disney Plus. And
Oh,
so
really?
yeah. And
Okay.
so I saw it and I was like, oh, I should watch this. I should watch a classic. I should watch because also never seen a Barbara Streisand movie musical or anything. So I was like, I kind of want to watch one.
I've been listening to, not been listening, but every now and then I'll listen to songs from the show, the movie, The Producers,
Hmm.
and I just love the songs because it's like dumb funny. It kind of reminds me of like Book of Mormon,
Yes.
and it has, what's the actor's name? He played Inspector Gadget. He's the main actor. I think.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name?
I don't. I feel like a millennial. Like we don't even know his name, but
Matthew Broderick.
I
Because he
I
also,
do want to watch The Producers.
yeah. I need to watch that too. I always hear about it, but I've never seen it.
Oh my gosh, I feel like there's a long list of musicals that we both need to see.
Oh yeah, ever growing. Yeah. I like was really into the I have the Thoroughly Modern Millie soundtrack and I have still another one. Oh no, I don't have the soundtrack, but I like Anything Goes. I like the music on Anything Goes.
Oh yes, Blow Gabriel Blow, love it.
It's so good. I got into like a phase where I would watch Sutton Foster perform Anything Goes like every day. Like I would get on YouTube, would just
No
watch it every
musical that I love that definitely is overplayed or overdone in high school productions is The Drowsy Chaperone.
Yeah, I saw that at KF.
And it's an overdone musical, but it's just so dumb and so funny. Like
Mhm.
that type of humor is very similar to the producers. And Sutton Foster in the I think was it the revival cast? I think like the revival cast in like the 90s.
Mhm.
She did such a good job. And I always watch her Tony's performance of her singing I Don't Want to Show Off Anymore.
Yes.
Love like the whole number is so funny. And also uh Mr. Toledo Surprise.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember that song, but it's so funny. I love the concept of like every time the narrator listens to the soundtrack, like everything comes to life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Love that.
I remember really liking that show in high school.
Yeah, and then what's another show? Cinderella has pretty catchy music. I saw the production when they toured at Boston. Cinderella, it was like the whole set, the costume changes, amazing.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And then Little Mermaid was also good too when they
Oh.
came to UC.
Yeah. We my senior year they did Cinderella for the musical.
Yeah.
And the orchestra we got to play in it. So I got to play that music.
Oh my gosh, I love My Little Corner. Love it.
Yes. That I think that's my favorite too.
And then 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Have you heard like if you haven't the Julie Andrews in my own little corner? There's it's like
No.
in black and white. Like I think it was like on TV, you know, years
Yeah.
years and years ago.
Yeah, I need to look up that
That's a
video.
that's a good clip. Yeah. Okay. So we before we started recording, we were talking about drag race.
Yes.
So I'll start with a very heavy question. Who is your favorite RuPaul's Race queen like up until now? Do you have a favorite?
Yes. I would say Bob the Drag Queen
Okay.
because her attitude towards I think when generally when people think of drag queens, they don't think of like them being an activist too much. And I think Bob the Drag Queen like she not only is a performer, but I love the idea that she, before getting on Drag Race, like she's gotten arrested so many times for like protesting. And I
Mhm.
think that's amazing. Like she's not only using her drag persona to like entertain people, but she's using it to like be a voice.
Yeah.
And she's just so articulate with her thoughts, and she's so, I guess, like, what's the word, like woke.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, she's so woke, and she is like actively trying to like better the world.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go off on a little tangent, but there's like this TikToker. His name is Christian Walker, and he's biracial. He's half African American and half Caucasian, and he's like a huge Trump supporter.
Oh,
He's also gay, and in all his videos, like he's pretty much just like yelling at the camera and telling the world why Trump is a great person, and he's like very, he attacks like the followers, and he's always making fun of like liberals. And then Bob scheduled like an interview with him where he actually got down to like listen to Christian, and it was a very peaceful conversation. Like Bob was willing to listen, and they just had like a conversation.
yeah.
And I think like we need more of that. And I don't generally I don't see like drag queens doing that. So I think it was really cool for Bob to do that. And then also like on her season, she just had like this, like, I don't care, I'm gonna do me attitude, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna have fun and roll with it. And that's the type of attitude that like I love. And
Yeah.
that's something that I can relate to. And I'm trying to like really do. But I think that's why she's my favorite drag queen, because of all those reasons. She's so like well versed, and she's
Yes.
so versatile. She's talented. She's funny. Oh yeah, she's also a comedian. I didn't mention
Yeah.
that.
That's
Her,
yeah.
her jokes, her all of her stand-up comedy sketches are so funny. So like she is so versatile, and I love that.
I love Bob. I we were talking about her and Money Exchange's podcast
Ye-
and her I really want her and Peppermint to have a show together somehow. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, there's this clip. I'm sure you probably know what I'm talking about. There's a clip of like someone that's not on camera is explaining to Bob Peppermint, and in the background is Mateo.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and he's explaining the rules of a game. And I don't remember what he said, but he said something blob person. And then Bob was like, "Wait, did you say black person?" And he's like, "No, like blob." And then you have to go and try and race. And then Peppermint was like, "Race?" And then it's just like
That's so good. I
looking at each
yes.
other, they just started laughing. It is so funny. I love all of like the Peppermint and Bob moments. Like,
Yeah.
and it's fashion. Wait,
Yeah.
but let me guess. It's fashion.
Yeah, but is it fashion? It's like, oh my god, that those I laugh at the like race one so much. I it still makes me laugh. I go back and watch it. And I'm like, this is still funny. Like
And then the fracking, the
the fact
fracking.
their timing is so good. Like they really
Yeah.
they are like they really play off of each other really well. Because
Mhm.
okay, so my favorite drag race queen is Katya, and
Yeah.
like it's the set like Katya and Trixie just have like a thing together.
Yeah.
Like they just get together and they just make magic, and that's what kind of how I feel about both Bob and Monet and Bob and Peppermint. Like they just
Mhm.
get together and it just explodes with like energy.
It's so crazy because like on their season of Drag Race, they were just kind of like sisters, you know? And
Mhm.
then after Drag Race, that's when you begin to see their friendship blooming, and they're able to create a career. And like I think it really blew up with the
Yeah,
YouTube series, yeah. And the editing is funny, but also like on top of that, their chemistry together is
yeah.
so good.
They
And
just too
all their reactions are just so organic, and then it just
yeah.
makes you love them even more.
And they're very like they play off of each other very well, and they are almost like two sides of the same coin because they are very different, but
Yep.
they are very similar. Like their humor is like very similar, and like I it's funny because like I've watched every episode of like maybe 50 times, and they I'm like, oh, they must be such good friends and stuff. And they talked about how like they're like, yeah, we're friends, but we don't really like hang out outside of like the show. We don't really see each other.
I think that's actually true because Trixie has a documentary on
Yeah,
Netflix. Did you watch it?
yeah, moving parts. Yeah.
The part that blew my mind was when Trixie, I think it was towards the end, she was getting ready, and then she received this long text from Katya, and it wasn't a nice message. Do you remember? Do you know what
Yeah.
part I'm talking
Yeah, I think
about?
so.
That part blew my mind because I guess I would have never expected to see that from Katya or like see their friendship like that.
Hmm.
Like, what you see on the camera isn't always necessarily true, but I mean, that's what humanizes them. That's what shows that like friendships aren't always like 100% positive. There are ups and downs, and then the documentary was very eye-opening on
Yeah,
their relationship together.
especially like I love Katya so much because I'm like this this bitch like really was on drugs for years and like on and off drugs for years and has like perfect teeth, has like a like razor sharp wit, is like funny
Yep.
and still really smart. Even though like sometimes the words she says I have to really pay attention because I'm like, what is she talking about? But like she just has this humor and such a levity to her. And
Uh-huh.
it's like to go through the stuff she's gone through and to be like this happy-go-lucky goofy weirdo. I'm like,
Yeah.
I love her so much. I what a lovable weird. And yeah, like after watching the documentary I was like, the fact that they're still friends is like,
Yep.
that's a strong bond, that's a strong friendship.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like,
Right.
and I know Katya was definitely like going through some stuff like mentally, and she's talked about how she's had like psychotic breaks, and she was like, there were moments where we were sitting filming, and I didn't know what was real, and like she was like, there's an episode of where like I just we're recording, I had to stop and I had to walk out, and Trixie just had to sit and wait for me, and like I'm like, oh my god, and like I don't know if you've ever seen like they had a show on Viceland.
Yeah, with Bob, like Bob
And Bob had to
substitute
take, yeah,
for.
because Katya was on, and then Katya had to leave because mental health stuff, and like I think she might have gone to rehab or like some kind of rehabilitation center, and then
Yeah.
Bob had to take over. And when I watched the Viceland show, I didn't know all that was going on. I was like, why is Bob here? Where's Katya go? And I was kind of sad, but I was like,
Yeah.
she's really going through some stuff, like, and she's on a podcast with somebody else who I don't remember the name of, but it's called like Whimsically Volatile.
That sounds so familiar. I
Yeah,
think I listened to one episode like a long time ago.
and she kind of explained that whole journey, like her whole like drug use and getting sober journey on that, like,
Wow.
yeah. And I was like, I just, and it made me love her more. I was like, she's so weird, I love her. And like just listening to her explain, like, and she jokes about it too now,
Yeah.
like Trixie will say some things that like if it was anybody else they would not laugh, like they'd be like, do not joke about that. God, she could care less.
Yeah, like there's something that makes a person so attractive,
Mm-hmm.
not like physically, but like you I notice that people tend to be drawn towards other people when they show like a very vulnerable side and just are themselves and just open and honest. Because that takes a lot of like effort and guts.
Yes.
For Katya, like to openly discuss that and like see her overcome it and see the person that she is today, that makes her even like, I don't know, like make us love her even more.
Mm.
And I love that. And like that's goals right there.
She and it's all, I always go back and forth between like whether or not I love Katya or Alaska more, but I love them both so much because Alaska, I love Alaska's humor. I really like, I don't know if this sounds weird. I really like Alaska's speaking voice.
Really?
I
Like
really like it. Yes, it's like that low gravelly like gay voice. Like I love Alaska's voice so much. And like when I listen to the podcast, I'm like, wow, I'm so relaxed. Like I could listen to, I
this
could
is
really,
my ASMR.
yeah. Basically, I was like, I could listen to her talk all day. And I really like their show because they cover Drag Race, but they also like talk about like politics. And
Yeah.
they're really about activism and like support this cause, and like today this happened. And I know their podcast gets like a lot of ears, and they talk about like Black Lives Matter and like, you know, the trans lives and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I really love their podcast. Like it's a mix of like, we're gonna we're gonna like drag the drag queens on Drag Race, but we're also gonna like talk about serious things.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I
Uh,
didn't know.
huh?
I need to listen to more of their podcasts then.
Yeah, they're like an hour. They're pretty short and they're funny. And Willem is like I really like listening to them talk about Drag Race because like if you remember Willem was like
Oh yeah, yeah.
he got kicked off the show. Like so he doesn't take it very seriously and he kind of will like he will like drag the show. He'd be like, "Oh well, obviously the producers told them to say that," and he just kind of like will drag
Yeah.
it
Him
and
and RuPaul are on good terms, right?
yeah, I don't yeah, I can't imagine that they are. And but Alaska like takes the show very seriously.
Yeah.
Like she could joke about it, but she takes the show very seriously. And obviously, like when she didn't win on her season, she was very upset. And then she had to go back and do All Stars. But like, but it's funny because Willem and Alaska get along so well, even though like they have very different views of like Drag Race as a show and
Yeah.
the
Right.
whole brand. Because Willem is like flippant and whatever, and like he's like this, show, he'll like dig at it and stuff. And Alaska kind of like she's like he'll like say something rude about RuPaul or something, and then Alaska's like, well, okay, and then just move on to something, move on to something else. And I'm like, oh my god, I don't know how they work together. I love them. Um,
That's something like a podcast, like I said, I really need to listen to. That sounds really interesting.
mhm. It's a good one. It's a good one. Okay, and then last thing we'll talk about. Last thing we'll talk about. Are you a big movie person?
I want to say no. Like it depends on the movie. Like I don't watch. I right now am drawn towards like definitely the MCU, some
Okay.
of the more cartoony movies. Um, yeah, I don't watch a lot of action. I don't watch a lot of drama.
Okay. I like dramas.
Yeah, I think so. I would say kind of no, but it depends. It depends. Like it depends what movie we're gonna talk about.
I do you oh well, have you seen Birds of Prey?
No, I okay, so I
Okay.
love Marvel movies, but DC movies, I'm like, I don't know about.
They are hit or miss, mostly miss. And I would venture to say the only one, honestly, the only ones worth watching are Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman.
Okay,
Like those two movies, Birds of Prey, it is undeniable. It's so good and weird and wacky, and like they really just did whatever they wanted to do. Like it's like nobody was watching
okay,
them like that.
but Wonder Woman, the second movie, what's it called, like 1984 or something, or it looks good. Maybe because I love like the whole 80s aesthetics of
Uh,
the movie,
mhm.
but I want to watch that movie. It's already out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
They
Okay,
had like they pushed it back like 1,000 times. Like I didn't know if it was ever gonna come out. Like they had
but
postponed
yeah,
it.
I remember watching the trailer and I was like, okay, even though I'm not into DC, like this movie does look really good. So that has been on my list for quite a while.
Okay, yeah. Watch. I don't know if you'll ever have time, but watch Birds of Prey and get back to me.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
that I think you'll like the aesthetic of that one too. Like the even just like the fashion of it all, like the costume design and everything. I hard rep for that movie. Like like I know a lot of people because I grew up watching DC stuff. Like I grew up watching like the Justice League cartoon and like
Mhm.
Batman and Superman and the Flash and all that stuff. Like that was my jam. So like when they
Yeah.
started making the live action movies and they weren't good, I was like, well, everybody thinks DC is bad when it's actually pretty good, but they don't. The movies are just rough. They're just rough.
I think it's because like seeing how well planned the Marvel movies, like they planned the first Iron Man movie, what, 2006, 2007? Marvel like did this long-term plan of like creating, well, first after seeing the success of Iron Man 1, after seeing the success of that, that's when they started to expand on that universe. And I think more recently as in like the past, I don't know, 5, 7 years, seeing how well those movies are doing, the
Yeah.
DC, I guess DCU, they're trying to catch up and trying to, I guess, like expedite the process,
Yeah.
but that just I think some of the movies lack like character development.
Yes. Hmm.
And so I think that's why their movies aren't that good. Although I do like Shazam. It's like a little
That's the
cheesy,
only
but
one I haven't seen. Okay, yeah, I need to watch Shazam.
Shazam is pretty cute. I like it. But Birds of Prey, I'll watch that. And then Wonder Woman 1, I haven't seen the movie, but it looks eh. But 2, I definitely want to watch.
I love the first one. I aesthetically, I understand what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but the first one is good. It's good. I like the writing. I like the characters. Like it's not everybody. Obviously, not everybody loves it as much as I do, but but I genuinely think Wonder Woman is a good movie. But Wonder Woman is my favorite superhero. But and if I were to choose one, I it hurts my heart. But I think Birds of Prey is a better movie. It's just so well done. Like the actors are having so much fun. And
I heard that in the box office it did all right, but
yeah,
it's because the marketing of it all wasn't very well executed. But the
yeah.
movie's really good. That's what I was told.
I can see that. I would have to agree. I would have to
Okay.
agree. Like but do you have a favorite Marvel movie? Or which one do you like the most?
Favorite Marvel. Oh, I would say either Spider-Man 1 or 2 with Tom Holland.
Okay.
I would say
Okay. Yeah.
for now,
Oh,
I'm gonna go with 2 for now. Yeah, I'm gonna go with
okay.
2. I love Spider-Man. Like I loved growing up. I loved the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and then towards the end of like senior year in high school, beginning of freshman year college, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, loved it. And then Tom Holland, loved it even more.
Yeah.
And like just seeing how well the second movie was, and how well that ties into like the whole MCU,
Mhm.
was just like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
So loved it.
They really did a good job of like I think with Marvel, they really had to like start from the ground up movie wise.
Right.
So they like came out with Iron Man. They don't know if it's gonna do well or not. And
Yep.
then they kind of throw that, if I'm remembering it, I don't know if it's the first Iron Man or the second one, but they like at the end of it, they have like they find Thor's hammer. And so they're like, okay, so people like this and people like the hammer thing. Okay, so we'll keep going. Like they kind of like they were really adapting like okay what do they like what don't they like what's working what's not working and over a decade they curried a lot of good favor to the point where they can like make anything like WandaVision.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
Yes. I
Okay.
love WandaVision so
Yeah.
much. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It is so good. Like I rewatched all the episodes twice. It
Okay.
is just so good. Okay. Also, like, are we allowed to talk like about the details of the show, or are we gonna spoil it?
Okay, spoiler alert. Everybody who
Spoiler alert! Spoiler
spoiler
alert!
alert, everybody who
Oh my gosh! Like the first 2 episodes when they came out, I was like, it
okay.
looks all right. And then episode 3, I was like, okay, it's kind of picking up. Whoa, like, what happened to Geraldine?
Hmm.
Episode 4 explained all like the small little details that we kind of missed in the first 3 episodes. And the scene that always like haunts slash like impresses me is the very first episode when the Harts came over and they had dinner.
Hmm.
And then Mrs. Hart, who was played by the actress from the '70s show,
Yeah, yeah.
she was telling her husband who was choking on food and like he was falling on the floor. And she's like, "Stop it, stop it,
Hmm.
stop it!" And then she looks over to Scarlet Witch or Wanda. She's like, "Stop it, stop!
Hmm.
Oh, stop it!" And at first, I was like, when I first saw that, I was like, "This is kind of creepy." But then after watching episode 4, I'm like, okay, the pieces are beginning to click. I think I get it now.
Yes.
And what's your take on the show, WandaVision?
I I know a lot of people were having issues with like the first 2 episodes and they were like, what's going on? I loved it from the beginning. Like I haven't I don't know if I'm just like too excited for it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I love the whole like sitcom aesthetic and
Yes.
them going from the 50s to the 60s to the 70s and like going up each decade. Cause like my mom loves old sitcoms. She loves old shows, period. So like all of that stuff, I'm like, they really got this like the look of it is so like accurate.
The effects of like even like all the silverware like levitating,
Yes.
it like it
Over
shows.
magic and it's very bewitched.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the acting styles of all the characters are so adapted to that era as well. that it makes it seem like you're actually watching a 50s show.
Mm-hmm.
And they like all the actors did a really good job trying to, I guess, like train to act like that in that era. And it's just yeah, I know that the very first two episodes I tried to not automatically like it because I know WandaVision is going to be good,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't try to let that get the best of me. So I tried to still keep an open mind and not be biased into just like already liking WandaVision. So when I saw the first two episodes, I was like, okay, oh, it's all right. But then episode 3 and 4, like it's picking up. It's
Yeah.
picking up.
Yeah. They're some people are having issues with the pacing, but I don't mind it all too much. I guess we are all definitely used to like the binge of like dropping all the episodes at once, but Disney Plus doesn't do that. So like it is like I'm trying to like find my patience because I'm so used to like Netflix, they drop it all at once, you can watch it in a weekend.
Yep.
And I'm like, they are smart to do it week by week because like we're gonna be talking about it for like
Yep.
on end,
Exactly.
not just all there and gone so fast. I like comic books. I like learning about comic books. I watch a lot of videos about them. So I kind of know about Scarlet Witch's powers and what might be going on.
Yeah.
So like the fourth episode is kind of like clearing it up a little bit for me cuz
Yeah.
like I was like and the Marvel they change stuff up from the source material all the time. So I was
Oh
like
yeah.
this might
Yeah.
not be right because I know of like the storyline where Scarlet Witch creates her own reality and like
House M.
yeah, House of M, and like gets no more mutants, gets rid of the mutants. Like I know that
Yeah.
whole bit, and so but they don't have mutants in Marvel yet. Um, so I don't know what
Yeah.
they're gonna do with that. But I was like, I'm very excited to see, and I really want to know like if Vision is dead still.
I
Like,
think he's dead,
yeah,
but this vision that we see is a creation, like it's Wanda's creation.
okay,
So
yeah,
it's how she views, in my opinion, how she viewed Vision, and she's able to bring her thought to life.
yeah,
So that's one thing that I noticed is that this Vision is more humanistic,
yeah.
has more like has more emotions compared to the actual Vision.
That's very true.
And yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, like, did she get Vision's body and then is just like animating it like a doll or like a puppet? Because that fourth episode when she sees Vision and you see the hole in his head and
Yeah,
it's like I think that a lot of people are like, oh, that's probably her like animating Vision. I don't think so. I think that's just a reminder that oh, he's dead.
yeah.
And this is all like fake. This is not reality. So I don't know. That's what I anticipate. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm so excited to see how the show goes, and I'm wondering like once season one is over, will they like? I'm imagining like the first season will be its own story, and it'll have a beginning, middle, and end. But I'm wondering like if they're gonna want to do more seasons of it and how they do that.
I see. I've been watching a lot of spoilers,
Okay.
and some of these spoilers have been pretty spot on with what's happening. And do you want me to say anything or no? Yeah,
Maybe not. I kind of want to be
yeah.
surprised by it. Okay. Yeah.
But I love the direction that the show is heading in, and I love how like they're bringing characters that we're already familiar with,
Mm-hmm.
like Darcy, and
Yeah.
then Agent Wu. That's his
Mm-hmm.
name, right? Agent Wu. Yeah, like characters from two different movies are now together in a show. So that I think it's like they're definitely making sure that it's in the same universe.
Yes,
I love.
they're really good about that. Like just even the small things, like because I've never seen the first two Thor movies, but I know like Kat Dennings is in them, and so I was like I'm surprised at how much I love Randall Park and Kat Dennings' characters together. I was like you wouldn't imagine like these two, but I was like
Yeah,
I like them. It's kind of it's kind of cute. They're funny.
yeah, exactly. And a small detail is that like, have you seen the Ant-Man movies?
Hmm.
You know how like Agent Wu is in Ant-Man 2. He's like he works for the FBI and he was very impressed by what's the actor who plays Ant-Man? Not the actor, but the character.
Oh, Scott.
Scott, yeah. How like he was able to do like magic tricks. Well,
Yes.
Agent Wu in in that movie and like some scenes in that movie, he was like learning how to use like do magic.
Yes.
And then the very first scene when Agent Wu was introduced in WandaVision, when he was like giving a card to
Yeah.
Monica Rambeau, he like did like a little magic trick. And so that's like, you know, those small
So
details.
good. Yeah.
And I love how Marvel is like making sure that like the characters are consistent and that they're just not throwing them in there, but that they do have some type of story,
Mhm.
like some little story of their own. That's just, it just shows like how thoughtful and how meticulous each Marvel movies or series is.
Mhm. And I kind of, me and my brother talk about it all the time, but I don't know if like if we're always going to be comparing DC and Marvel, but like I don't know if I would rather them completely wipe the DC slate and just start over, because there are elements of it that I do like. So I don't want them to necessarily get rid of the whole thing, but
Yeah.
also like I wouldn't mind if they just did like an unconnected universe. Like
Mm,
I wouldn't be all that upset. I know some people might be, but I
yeah.
wouldn't mind if like Wonder Woman had her own adventures and went off on her own, especially if it's in a different, times, if she's in the 80s or 90s or in the future even.
Right. Yeah.
Versus if like, because we got the Christopher Nolan Batman movies and nobody was caring where Superman was, and like people love the Nolan Batman trilogy. So like
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need them to cross over all that much,
Yeah.
or at all. Like I love the Justice League, but I don't, if they can't get it right in Wonder Woman, they just want to make Wonder Woman movies, or they just want to make
Yeah.
Batman movies. Like I'm really excited for the Robert Pattinson Batman, because it's an actor I like and it's a director I like, and it's not really going to be connected to anything. So I feel like,
Definitely like Marvel has definitely Marvel movies are revolutionary because they made like this whole universe movie concept. And not only is like the DC, not only are the DC movies trying to follow that, but like other movies as well,
yes,
like Godzilla, King Kong.
yeah,
Like that, I thought that was pretty cool. And I read somewhere that they're wanting to start like what are those called? Like the characters that we're familiar with, like Dracula, werewolf. Apparently, like I read this like a
yeah,
long time ago. Eventually, they're wanting to make a like movies on like Dracula, werewolf, and like Frankenstein,
yeah.
and that they're gonna create a universe of that as well. So, like, okay,
They,
wow,
they
like,
they tried they tried to do it, and like the Mummy wasn't good, or people didn't like the Mummy. So I don't know if they're gonna try to start over again, because they had like the whole cast. Like they had the whole like they had like Angelina Jolie as like the Bride of Frankenstein, and they had like Javier Bardem as one of them, and they had like the cast set like for the universe. They had Johnny Depp as something, and like they were ready to go. But then when the Mummy with Tom Cruise kind of failed financially and critically, and didn't do as well as they wanted it to do, they
yeah,
kind of, I guess they're going like back to the drawing board,
I see.
seeing if they're gonna, yeah, start over with that whole thing. So I'll watch Angelina Jolie in anything. So I hope they
Yeah.
I,
Eternals.
I hope they put her in like they still do something with her. But um okay. And then also, do you have a favorite pop artist?
Pop artist.
Because we're all about pop music on this podcast.
Oh, here's the thing. I don't have like one specific favorite type of genre of music that I like. I just kind of like listen to all over the place. Um, pop, I don't know. I'm gonna be basic and just say like Lady Gaga. I don't know. I
Oh
really,
yeah, yeah. I
I
was like,
don't
who do you listen to the most? Like, I will try to like. So everybody knows mine is Ariana Grande. I can't deny it. It just is. It just is a part of who I am.
yeah.
And like it's funny because I'll open Spotify or whatever and be like, okay, I'm listening to some music, and I always am trying to like diversify my music and find other things to listen to, and I'm like, let me find something new to listen to. But guess what? I go to this is Ariana Grande playlist, and I press play and I go about my day. It's like, I'm like, no, I just want to listen to Ariana Grande today. And that's basically just every day. And I'm like, I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. I like, that is probably hands down my favorite. I do love Gaga. I really love Chromatica. I feel like, Chromatica kind of came and went too fast for me. Like
Mm,
she put it out and then nobody talked about it. And I was like, this album
that's
is
what I noticed too. Yeah. because it
I
came out
loved
a
it.
while ago.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it came out like months ago.
Yeah, it's been a few months.
And now people are just like picking it up just like now.
I'm like, I love Chromatica. Like, well, I know she did Rain on Me and 911 on one of those award shows. And I'm like, I want, well, I know it's Corona, but I'm like, I want more like live performances of some of these songs. Like, I wish, I don't know what Gaga's been doing, but like Dua Lipa did a whole like virtual concert thing
Oh
and
wow.
like, sang a bunch of her songs. And I also love Dua Lipa a lot. And
He's growing on me, yeah.
yeah, I'm a single woman campaign to get Dua Lipa album of the year at the Grammys. Like I'm trying to get her that Grammy, but yeah, Gaga, I'm like I want her to do some, even JoJo, who's like
Jojo Siwa?
no, yes, gay icon JoJo Siwa. um JoJo from like Leave Get Out fame from when we were kids, like she did a little virtual concert type thing.
Wait, I'm sorry. Backtrack. When you ask me favorite artist, I know who now.
Okay.
And you're not gonna know who because she just released this one song I think a couple of days ago or probably weeks ago, and I think it's so good. So in the moment, my favorite pop artist is Rebecca Black, and
Okay. She can sing.
she she came out, right? She
Yeah.
came out and she has a song called I think Girlfriend. Please listen to it.
Okay.
It's so
I follow Rebecca Black on Instagram and TikTok. So I'm about it, but I haven't gotten into her music.
the music video for the song is so cute and it gives me like a lot of Carly Rae Jepsen vibes. Oh, she's another person I like. I love her music. Yeah, so I don't know, like Carly Rae Jepsen. Okay, so right now Rebecca Black, Carly Rae Jepsen,
Okay.
Lady Gaga.
Okay, top three. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. Me and Danita are upset. We're obsessed with her.
I love Party for One and
Yes.
Store. I love Store so much.
We it was funny because like I had started listening Tyler Oakley. Tyler Oakley was like when I was still watching his YouTube videos, he was always talking about Carly Rae Jepsen. He's like, y'all don't get it. She's good. You want to see her as the, the Call Me Maybe girl, but her new album is good. And I was like, okay, Tyler. And I was like, I gave in one day after however many weeks of him talking about it. And I listened to it and I said, oh, this is it. Emotion, this is it. And I made Danita listen to it. And she was like, oh, she's like, this is pretty good. And around that same time, she was on tour and she was going to be in Austin. And so Danita was like, we have to go. And I was like, neither of us have a car. How are we going to get there? It was like on a
Uber Megabus.
It was like on a random day. I was like, I don't know if we can go, girl. And she was like, no, we're gonna go. We're gonna figure it out. She asked like one of our friend named Austin, and he has friends in Austin. And so he was like, yeah, I go there all the time. And I didn't really want to ask him because like we're friends, but we weren't like that super close or anything. And so Anita was like, no, I'm gonna ask him. And so she was like, hey, would you mind taking us to Austin this weekend so we can go see a concert? And he was like, okay, yeah. And he like texted one of his friends there and was like, I'm gonna come hang out with you this weekend. And so we bought tickets that night, the night before, and then we went the next day and we went to go see that. And I was
crazy.
like, this was a roller coaster ride. Danita was like, no, we are going. Because I had given up. I was like, I don't think we're gonna make it. She was like, no, we're gonna go.
Oh my, I've never went to an actual concert ever. Well, I went to one. I went to Codaline. Yeah, they're like an indie band. I went my sophomore year. That's like the only concert that I've ever been to. And it's not like a big stadium concert. It was like at a bar, I think at a bar. And it was kind of like a last minute event. And tickets were like only, I think, $15. So my friends and I are like, well, my friend kind of dragged me. We're like, oh my God, like you have to go. This is a really good band. I'm like, okay, let's go. And music was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I like the music. So that was like, yeah, I would definitely want to go to like an actual real concert. Like, let's say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be something.
Yeah.
I really like the smaller venues. Like I really love a small setting for a concert. They're just more intimate and they end up being more fun. And
Yeah.
because I've seen Ariana 3 times. So I've seen every Ariana tour, and then I've seen JoJo, and I've seen
Mhm.
Carly Rae Jepsen, and I've seen Allie and AJ was surprisingly fun. Like that might be one of my favorites. Like because they sang their new stuff, but they sang like their Disney Channel potential
Yeah.
breakup song, and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I think and I went by myself because a friend was supposed to go, but she had to cancel last minute. So my mom ended up coming because she didn't want me to go alone. And she kind of
Yeah.
just sat in the back. And I was like up in the front, like by the stage, just like living my life, just by myself with
Oh
strangers
my
around me. I
gosh.
was like, oh, this is so fun. But like I am gonna be very excited when they start up concerts again. And
Yeah, yeah. Oh my, same here. I feel like after this whole virus, like everyone's gonna go out and about. Like no one's gonna
it's
want
gonna
to
be
stay at
wild. Hmm.
home.
Hmm. And we'll find you we're gonna get you to go to a concert because you got to
Yo,
experience that too.
girl. I mean,
I
we're
don't
both
know
in Houston.
who.
I'm so down. I'm so for real down.
Oh yeah, I was really like, um, what was the last album? I think Gaga toured for Joanne, and I was trying really hard to go to that tour. I don't know what, there were some obstacles in my way, but like, oh man, I really wanted to go see. I still want to see Gaga. Like that is a life dream. Is to see
No,
Gaga,
same here, same
Beyonce.
here.
That's what we're gonna go see. We're gonna go see Gaga whenever that
Yes,
whenever
totally.
we can. Oh, okay, Darian. I have taken up enough of your time, and
This was so fun. It was really nice to like reconnect with you. And it's been so long since we've like talked. And this is like a really good moment for us to just like really breathe and relax and just catch up.
yeah,
But
just have a conversation. And I'm gonna try and keep up with you, even after this podcast. I'm gonna try to stay in touch.
of course, yeah, yeah.
And thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna.
I would like to thank Darrion Nguyen for coming on to my show. I'm so happy he said yes. I'm so happy he came on. And I hope you guys enjoyed this first installment of Playing Catch Up. And I hope to do many more. And please, like I said at the beginning of the episode, follow me on Instagram at _the podcast and my TikTok at In My Head Podcast. And I'm hoping to also make a Facebook page very soon. My TikTok is mainly going to be my rapid reviews of movies. But my Instagram, I'm going to put, when a new episode is up and things like that. Things like that. So I hope you all have a nice day and stay frosty.